Ok, riuscite a sentirmi? Scusate per gli errori e i problemi della connessione di internet, adesso stiamo cercando di rifar partire tutto e Greta dovrebbe stare arrivando. Hi Greta, hi, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, I can hear you. It seems like the connection is better.
Yeah, awesome. So, how are you?
Me, I'm good.
Yeah,
How are you?
good, really good, thank you. I mean, the situation is a bit crazy nowadays, especially here
Yes,
in Italy. Yeah. How's it
yes. How
in,
is it?
yeah, we're forced in lockdown, obviously, and it's hard to go outside, and you can only go outside if really, really necessary, for example, for getting some food. But how is the situation in Sweden now?
Well, I mean, it's nothing like. I mean, of course we are very affected. Like probably every country is affected, but nothing nothing like Italy. I mean, we hear lots about Italy's situation, and it's and yeah, we all feel very we are in solidarity with you, and it's I mean here in Sweden it's not like we don't have much restrictions. I mean they give like recommendations, the authorities give recommendations on what we should be doing, but they don't tell us, or of course in a few cases, but they basically just give us recommendations on what we should be doing and not be doing, because in Sweden people seem to trust the authorities more, so we are like for example in Italy.
Yeah, and so during this crisis, the novel coronavirus crisis, it seems a bit like the climate emergency crisis is on hold. So, what are the similarities and differences, to your point of view, between the two crises, and how can we move forward into raising awareness about the climate crisis, even during this period?
Well, I mean, of course these both crises are need to be treated as crises, and we need to tackle them both at the same time. And of course the climate crisis will not go away during this time. We just need to adapt, and have in mind that this is what's on people's mind right now and what needs to be done right now to save lives. And we should not, of course, not be comparing these two crises, but we should be solving them both at once. But yeah, so but how we can still keep. I mean, we just need to understand that we won't be able to do climate activism as we are used to during this time, because we need to stand in solidarity with people, and we need to listen to what the experts and authorities are saying. And yeah, that's what we have done. So we have sort of moved online, but we are still trying to advocate during this time, and we are also using our channels to spread information about COVID-19 as well. But yeah, the climate crisis doesn't go away. We need to treat them both as crises at the same time.
Yeah. And so during this crisis, we're seeing that institutions around the world are acting really drastically as a response to the coronavirus crisis. Uh, but that's not really the case with the climate emergency. Why do you think that's the case, and what can we learn from this crisis that we're living now?
Well, I mean, of course, the corona crisis is a more direct threat which affects us right here, right now. So of course the response is going to be very different, and but also one reason to why the corona crisis has really been treated as a crisis is because the people in power and the media have been treating this as a crisis from the beginning, and that has not been the case with the climate emergency. And of course, these are two different crises that require different responses. But yeah, we can really, when I think this will definitely change the way the people perceive crises. And when we really are in an emergency like this, we show that we can go together and that we can act very, very fast. So that is definitely something we will bear in mind.
Yeah, and this crisis that we're living at the moment, the coronavirus crisis, it's a crisis that will at some point have an ending. And after that ending, we're going to be faced with the choice of what we're going to do to contrast the climate emergency. And so there's a big debate on how to approach this situation, on what to do after this crisis ends, and how to get the economy starting, but without going back to the system that we were in before. What do you think about this?
Yes, I mean, of course, the coronavirus will and has already turned the world upside down. So yeah, just like you said, when we will have a choice how we want to restart the world again, how we want to, and then it's important that we think long term, and that we just that we think what will benefit us in the long run, and that we really think about the bigger picture. And we have to be aware that many people will use that situation to try to continue to boost business as usual. For example, they will bail out companies that are very harmful in the long run, and yeah, they will maybe take away environmental regulations, and that we have to be very careful for that we actually call them out so that they aren't allowed to do that. But yeah, we of course we shouldn't be talking about opportunities in that way, because this is a tragedy and people are dying. But still, there will be a whole different situation. The world will look completely different, and then we have to, of course, choose which path we want to take moving forward. And then it's important that we use the right one.
Yeah, thank you. And so at the moment we're all at home. We're constrained in the in our houses. And so what can we do as activists, but also as people in our society, to try to fight the climate crisis while at the same time social distancing?
Well, there are many things you can do, and we need to be creative and find new ways. And one thing you can do is, for instance, is to join the climate strike online, that you strike online. And also that you maybe, I don't know, there are many things you can do online. You can email or call your local politician, and you can still put pressure on institutions and people in power, corporations, while you are at home, and
Yeah.
still try to share information online, and especially one thing that you can do when you're at home like this is to inform yourself, to read what is happening, to try to understand, to learn more how does the world look like right now, and what is the situation, and how can we move forward, and what are the problems we face right now, and so try to understand. That is one very important thing that we cannot underestimate, because it feels like everything is on hold, so you might as well educate yourself, to read or listen to audiobooks, watch films, or listen to podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah. And so also a big news that has come out in this week is that the COP26, which was supposed to happen in November this year, has been postponed till next year. And this is, of course, a big issue, but also really concerning. What do you think about it?
Well, of course, it was completely expected. I mean, I would have been surprised if they wouldn't have postponed it, since all the other events like it have been postponed or cancelled. So yeah, we just have to be able to do the best out of that situation, and remember that the COP can be postponed, but climate action cannot be postponed, and that we don't take this as that we simply move forward anyway, and that we find our way out of this situation without having to do the COP the way it was intended.
Yeah. So there's many different things that a person can do in this moment to act on the climate crisis. And one thing, really easy thing people could do is either join the climate strikes online, which happen every single Friday. And another example would be to sign the European Citizen Assembly, which can be found online. Now I'm just gonna translate to Italian a bit what we discussed about in these 2 minutes.
Yes. Please do.
Quindi abbiamo parlato un po' di diversi argomenti, iniziando un po' a discutere di quali siano le differenze tra la crisi climatica e la crisi del coronavirus, del Covid-19. E Greta ha affermato che non si possono veramente comparare queste due emergenze, perché sono entrambi emergenze di una grandissima importanza, che devono essere affrontate ugualmente. Tuttavia l'emergenza climatica non sta venendo affrontata allo stesso modo in cui sta venendo affrontata la crisi del coronavirus, e questo ha a che fare sul fatto che la crisi del coronavirus viene percepita come se fosse più importante, dato che sta venendo così in fretta. Abbiamo parlato del fatto che dopo la crisi del coronavirus avremo bisogno di ripensare la nostra società anche in vista dell'emergenza climatica. Vi saranno delle opportunità, ma non è bello metterlo sull'opportunità, nel fatto che potremo effettivamente cambiare la società una volta che questa crisi verrà terminata. Anche se siamo adesso tutti quanti chiusi in casa, si può comunque fare molto per aumentare la consapevolezza rispetto alla crisi climatica. Ad esempio, si può unire agli scioperi climatici del venerdì, oppure si può firmare l'ECI, che è un'iniziativa europea per la Commissione europea, ed è una petizione online che si può trovare sul sito di Fridays for Future Italia. Okay. So yeah, how have you been approaching the situation of having to stay home alone, or with your father?
I've been, I mean, I can't complain. I have everything I need here. I have 2 dogs. I have lots of work that I can do, so I'm not bored. And I have board games to to be able to do something. And so yeah, for me, it's not been hard. I can't say. Um, so yeah, but of course you hear about, you have like the news on all the time because you want to hear updates on what's happening around the world. So, but yeah, it's just so hard to realize what's happening. It's like in a matter of a few weeks, the world has been completely turned upside down, and it's just a bit hard to grasp. And yeah, and it's very, of course, very concerning and very sad to see and to hear everything that's been happening, and especially what's been happening in Italy, especially northern Italy, and I just feel you want to be able to do something, but there's like nothing you can do from home. So yeah.
So we have a question from some of our followers, and that is, do you like Italy, and did you like the strike in Turin?
I love Italy, and I really enjoyed striking in Turin. So the reception was incredible, and I was very grateful to that event to have been organized so quickly. It basically was organized in no time, so that was very unbelievable in a way. Yeah, I really liked it.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so regarding the ECI, the European Climate Initiative, Citizen Initiative, why do you think that can be really useful to bring forward?
To be honest, I'm not really very much involved in that project, so I don't know if I feel 100% comfortable with talking about it like that, but I think really be pushing and endorse all the initiatives right now, and so yeah, I welcome all the initiatives, especially when people are to make a difference and to improve the state of the world, and yeah, especially when it comes to the climate.
Yeah, and so since it's been postponed to next year, how can we put pressure on the UNFCCC in that sense? Any ideas? I don't know, because it's going to be very hard not having a defined date at the moment to put pressure on that.
Yes, I mean, that of course we have to figure out along the way and see what happens, how this, but we also have to remember that it's not during these big conferences, it's not just during election day that we can put pressure on people in power and hold them accountable, make them act, but that we can do, because we are lucky enough to live in democracies, we can actually do that every day. We can, anytime we feel like that we can put pressure on institutions and policymakers, so that we aren't just limited to these specific dates, but we can do that every day, and we should definitely use that opportunity and that power that we have as people.
Thank you. So what do you think about how the movement developed so quickly and so widespread, and how the movement has evolved, for example, in Fridays for Future Italy?
I must say it was quite a surprise how how the movement developed so quickly, and it feels like just overnight it just turned into a worldwide global movement with millions of people involved in it. And I was definitely not ready for that. So it's like I was striking with a few others in Stockholm, like for, I don't know, 6 months, like every after in like December or January, it started really to gain momentum, and then on the 15th of March, it was just such a big surprise because I don't think anyone had expected anything like that. So I think we were all very surprised, especially the organizers. And yeah, Italy was just a country that really, in that time, because you had been able to like mobilize the whole country basically. And I don't think anyone of us in the rest of the world, in other countries, really understood how you did that. So yeah, you're gonna have to give us some advice on how to do that, because yeah, it was unbelievable.
Okay, sorry, I'm losing connection a little bit. So another question I had is, which could be the correct language to talk about the climate crisis to people who don't really care about it at the moment?
Well, I don't know. I guess just science. Just show them that this is what the science shows, and this is where we're at, and these are the risks if we don't act, and these are the necessary steps that we need to take right now to be able to ensure a safe future for us all. And I don't know, that at least that's the language I use. Just hand over the black and white scientific data and evidence, and then also, I mean, to really, I think definitely as children we have also a power over our like parents and adults around us, that we can tell them, we can use feelings and say that you need to do this for us. You can't say that you care about us. Why not doing everything you can to save our future and to make sure that we even have a safe future. So I think those two, emotions and just pure science, are the two main ones that we have right now.
Yeah. And so, not so long ago, you met with Malala Yousafzai. Can you tell a bit how that was for you? And yeah.
Yeah, that was it was because she's one of my biggest role models. So I was starstruck when I met her. So because she's like, if I would want to meet and talk with anyone in the world that of my choosing, then she would definitely be one of my top picks. So yeah, it was a bit unreal. So yeah.
Awesome. And another thing that is really important to think about at the moment is how the fight for the climate crisis is linked to the fight for feminism. Do you have any opinion on that?
Yes, I mean, of course, it is. The climate crisis will hit those who are already the most vulnerable people, and that in the world today are mainly women and girls in the developing world. So of course, those are the ones that are going to be hit the hardest by the climate crisis, and those are also the ones who are already being hit the hardest. We can see that throughout the world. So especially this has a very, very clear sort of equality point of view that that many people don't seem to really understand. So yeah, that's definitely something we need to communicate, that this climate crisis, yes, we say we are all in the same boats, and that if one of us goes down, then all of us goes down. But that isn't really true, because we have so different backgrounds, and we have so different sort of resources and, I mean, resilience. So, and of course that we need to also understand that some people are gonna need more help than others with dealing with this crisis. So yeah, I think that is definitely a very important aspect in the fight for climate justice.
Yeah, and since this wave of climate activism has started with the Fridays for Future movement and other movements, you've been able to meet with a lot of famous people. And what would you say is the most active on the environmental front? And what was the person you felt the most excited about meeting with?
Well, that is a very difficult question. I think the people who are fighting the most and who are the most active are the activists. And the activists, I mean, both within the Fridays for Future movement, but I mean just everywhere, and also especially indigenous activists, because they are fighting as if this was a matter of life and death, because that is the case for many. They are being hit very, very hard, and they are being exploited all around the world. So they are some people, some of those who are the most active and who are fighting the most. I think the person if we're talking famous people, the person I was most excited to meet, then it will have to be Malala, I think, as we mentioned earlier, because yeah, she's just so cool.
Yeah, great. And so do you think that after the Corona crisis, we will be able to recover and put in place the ecological transition that is necessary for the climate emergency?
Well, I mean, we can always hope, and we must always do everything we possibly can to make sure that that is the case. And I don't think, at least I'm not thinking about it as something that, whether I think it will happen or whether I think it will not happen or whether I hope it's gonna happen. I just see it as something that we just simply need to do, and that I need to be able to do everything I can to make sure that is the case. And yeah, because really, as I see it, and as we see it, is that we have no other option. So that is what we must do.
Yeah. And so one last question we had is, will you ever be coming back to Italy to strike after the Corona crisis? Maybe in Milan or?
Yes, I will definitely come back to Italy after the Corona crisis. Now we have to just wait and see what happens. But of course there will be a time after this, and yeah, then I would love to go there and to come back there and strike with you. And yeah, I look forward to that. We just have to get through these difficult times together right now.
Thank you. So we are launching a very wide campaign in Italy to promote basically a green resistance. It would be a green plan, but with a different strategy. And we know it's necessary to involve a vast majority of people to implement this transition. And so we're launching a letter and then actions on the 24th of April, which will be digital actions. and this is to all the viewers that are watching this live right now. And so, yeah, thank you, Greta, very, very much for being on this live today. I hope you have a great weekend and a great evening.
Thank you for having me on, and yeah, keep it on and stay positive. And yeah, I know you live in areas where it's very much where it hits the hardest right now. So just yeah, keep going and yeah, stay strong. And yeah, have a good weekend.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Ok, per coloro che ci guardano e ci ascoltano dall'Italia, grazie a tutti. Adesso tradurrò velocemente di cosa abbiamo parlato in inglese con Greta. Abbiamo parlato dell'ECI, che è l'iniziativa dei cittadini europei, che è una petizione online rivolta alla Commissione europea e può essere trovata sul sito di offlinesulfutureitalia.it. Potete farla firmare ai vostri amici, alle vostre famiglie, con l'obiettivo di ridurre le emissioni di carbonio a livello europeo. Abbiamo parlato di cosa può fare ogni singolo individuale in questo periodo di emergenza del coronavirus. Alcune idee sono quelle di unirsi agli scioperi digitali, ma anche di continuare a aumentare la consapevolezza con i propri conoscenti. Inoltre abbiamo chiesto qual è la persona che Greta abbia incontrato che secondo lei è più attiva dal punto di vista ambientale, ma anche la persona che Greta ha incontrato la quale l'ha emozionata di più. E Greta ha risposto che è Malala Yousafzai. E le persone più attive dal punto di vista climatico, secondo lei, sono proprio gli attivisti che scendono in piazza nelle manifestazioni di Fridays for Future. Abbiamo parlato di cosa succederà dopo questa crisi del coronavirus e della transizione ecologica che sarà necessaria dopo il termine di questa crisi che stiamo vivendo in questo momento. Inoltre stiamo lanciando in Italia una campagna molto grande per promuovere una resistenza verde, ovvero un piano verde per cercare di stare in linea con gli accordi di Parigi e siamo consapevoli che sia fondamentale coinvolgere gran parte della società e quindi il 24 aprile lanceremo una grandissima campagna e diverse azioni digitali, nonché una lettera rivolta a tutti e a tutte. Ottimo, quindi chiudiamo qui la live. Grazie mille a tutti per essere stati qui e speriamo di vedervi negli scioperi online del venerdì. E firmate l'ECI, potete trovare il link nella pagina di Instagram. Ciao a tutti.